chit chat.
Council agenda, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, regular Township Council meeting of June 17, 2025. Introduction, posting of notice. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the Municipal Building on December 2nd, 2024, which remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and North Star Ledger on December 6, 2024. May I please ask everyone to stand for the flag salute?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. Hernandez?
Here.
Mr. McGrath?
Here.
Mr. Neglia?
Here.
Mr. Karifi?
Here.
Also in attendance are Business Administrator Jamie Cryan and Township Attorney Michael Lavery and the Municipal Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. Can I begin?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Upcoming meetings, July 8th, 2025 at 7 p.m. is the agenda meeting. July 22nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. is the regular meeting. There are no ordinances. Moving along to the public session, I'd like to entertain a motion to open up the public session.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, the floor is open to the public. You can speak on any matter you'd like. You have 5 minutes to speak. Please state your name and sign in before speaking.
I had already signed in.
Oh, you're prepared. Okay, good.
Hold on.
Hello?
Broken already? Seriously, with all these people?
Hello?
There you go.
I got lipstick on it, sorry. Hello, okay. You needed your magic touch. Okay, so my name is Nicole Zamora. I'm a resident here at Parsippany. I did hear from the grapevine that somebody was stopped due to racial profiling by the police department. I just wanted to say that, well, first of all, I have nothing bad to say about the police department. I think the police department is doing an excellent job. I feel very safe in this community. I am very happy to live here in this community as well. But I do find that well, number one, it's illegal. But number two, racial profiling is something that doesn't make me feel safe. I mean, I know that the way I look is not like the typical Hispanic look, but I am of Hispanic background, and my stepkids are, of brown skin complexion. It just makes me concerned, like, oh my God, is somebody going to stop them for the way that they look? Which doesn't make me feel very safe. So I really do hope that somebody does, in this town, look into it, because it's just very concerning, and, and also, Hispanic, just like the United States, is a melting pot. You have people who look Asian, you have people who look white, you have people who look brown, black, you name it. We're not just one specific color or one specific type. So that's also very ignorant to stop people just because they look a certain way. So I just hope that the town just does an investigation and please look into this matter, because this is just very concerning, and I just hope that this doesn't continue. But other than that, I have to say I really do like the police department. I mean, I think they're doing an excellent job, and I do love living in this town. I mean, I think everybody's doing a great job, even you guys as mayor and council. Everybody here is doing a great job. I am so happy here, and I love the school and everything like that, but this is just one thing that I hope you guys look into. Thank you very much.
Did you make a complaint to the police department?
It wasn't me specifically that it happened to. I just know that
Okay,
it happened to somebody.
whoever it happened to, they need to, if they believe that, they need to make a complaint to the police department, and then they will investigate it.
Okay,
That's
so,
not something that we would investigate.
okay, so who from the police department?
If they contact the Internal Affairs Division.
Internal Affairs
They'll do
Division.
it, yes.
Okay, thank you so
Okay,
much.
you will.
Paul, they should have body cam
Yeah,
video,
oh, yeah.
right? So you can
They'll
Oprah
have it.
the
You can also
video.
Oprah the body cam video.
You should be able to get all that.
But they should definitely, if that's what they believe happened, have them call the police department, ask for the Internal Affairs Division, and that's who would handle that complaint. And then, like Councilman McGrath said, they have body cams and everything, so they would have that footage.
Good evening, Ken Dolsky, Parsippany. I would like to speak again about the lack of support for Pride Month in Parsippany. At the last meeting, only 3 of the 5 council members voted in favor of the same resolution that I assume has been passing unanimously for years supporting Pride Month. And our mayor has refused to fly the Pride flag as in the past. I asked the 2 members who voted against the resolution why they did so, and received some responses having to do with their perceived roles of town governments. Mr. Musella said government property should be neutral with respect to this issue. And Mr. McGrath said Parsippany is made up of people with many different backgrounds. I don't believe it is right to speak for all of them on global issues that divide rather than unite. Now, I know he was mainly referring to issues like Ukraine, Israel, and Palestine, but he did not differentiate those from Pride. Both councilmen and the mayor can certainly correct any misrepresentations they hear in my remarks, although unfortunately 2 of them are not here tonight. So maybe I'll have to come back next time. I'm certain that we could all have a great conversation about the proper role of government when it comes to the issues of supporting causes. My bottom line, however, is that the purpose of government is to do things for people that they can't do themselves. That is, one of the main things is to protect people. Provide security for residents, not only physically, but also by telling them that the town understands and is aware of the threats against them. Over the last 2 years, GLAD's alert tracker showed a 112% increase in documented anti-LGBTQ attacks nationwide. GLAD, by the way, stands for Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. The FBI reported an increase in hate crimes motivated by sexual orientation and gender identity, with incidents related to sexual orientation bias increasing by about 9% from 2022 to 2023, and gender identity-based incidents rising 78% from 2021 to 2023. The Williams Institute found that LGBT people are 9 times more likely to experience violent hate crimes than non-LGBT people. Transgender and gender non-conforming people are particularly vulnerable and disproportionately impacted by hate-fueled violence. These incidents have included protests, vandalism, propaganda bombs, and mass shooting threats, assaults, and arson. As always, these reported incidents are undoubtedly undercounting the true numbers. But this is not a situation crying out for government action and support. I don't know what is. If any group of citizens is being subjected to acts of hatred, we should do what we can to help them. If flying the Pride flag and passing a resolution recognizing Pride Month accomplishes this, we should all support it and certainly never oppose it. We are all familiar with First They Came, a 1946 post-war confessional piece by the German Lutheran pastor Martin Niemöller. It indirectly condemns complicity of German intellectuals and clergy following the fascists' rise to power and incremental purging of their chosen targets. And you know how it starts. First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was a socialist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. I personally regard deliberately withholding support of such targeted groups, especially when there is no danger from offering such aid, as supporting hate crimes, discrimination, and even fascism. As far as respecting Parsippany's diversity, I am sure there are some residents who would oppose any resolution of this type. But this applies to everything that the council engages in. And we can't be paralyzed by that. If something is morally correct and helpful to residents, I support it and expect my elected officials to support it. As Edmund Burke said in 1795, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. When faced with threats to our society, we all have to take sides. I am very disappointed that 3 of our 6 elected officials would not support a resolution or public flag supporting a group of targeted and vulnerable individuals. As I said at the last meeting,
30 seconds.
Pride in Parsippany works both ways. The elected officials have to show their pride in residents. Right now, I see no reason to have pride in Parsippany. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can just move the mic. There you go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lily Benavides. I live in Lake Hiawatha, and I'm here today to make a statement. On Wednesday, I was home with my granddaughter, and she asked if I wanted something for lunch, and she went out to grab some lunch at the Morris Hills Shopping Plaza. She forgot her license at home because she was doing the application to renew her passport. And we had all the papers on the table. She rushed out and she forgot that. When she turned right onto the shopping plaza, there was a police car behind her and stopped her right there at the shopping plaza. He asked for the documents pertaining to the car. She passed insurance, the registration. She told him that she forgot the license, but she downloaded on the phone because she recently renewed it. So it was on her phone. And then he proceeded to ask, are you a U.S. citizen? So she got surprised, kind of in shock that she was asked that. So he was very rude, so she replied kind of yelling at him, yes, I am a citizen, 2 times. So he said, okay, I'm going to check if you have any warrant, which it was unnecessary. He went to the car, and then he came back and said, no, you don't have anything. He didn't give any explanation. He didn't give her a ticket or anything. It was a black SUV from Parsippany Police, and like the ones going around in town. Even though they denied it was them, my daughter went and complained, and they said it wasn't them. They were trying to blame it on mountain-based police, and then they said, oh, maybe it was Homeland Security, it is a shame that they are doing that. So I'm here to tell you, we don't accept that in here. If you have a criminal case, okay, you have a criminal case, but if you are going to start allowing ICE, the Homeland Security here, then all the people that work downtown are going to be gone, and all the businesses are going down. And I'll tell you something about those businesses. Most of the business hire people way under minimum wage, $7 or less. They work 14 hours. They don't have breaks. And they live in their crappy apartments that the same business owners rent to them. And then they have to fix them to have a decent place to live. That's what they do. So it's up to you, because I know you said you don't take those decisions. And it's a shame that the chief of police is not here today, because this is not going to happen here. I didn't come to this country almost 40 years ago to be treated as a second-class citizen. I have done everything right. I raised my kids here. We pay taxes, and my kids, my grandkids, which I'm so proud of, they are already going to college, and they are working, and they are good kids. And it was racial profiling, even if it was denied, because she doesn't look Latina, she doesn't have a Latino last name, but the car is on my daughter's name. So he was checking her plates, and so the Latino last name, and that's why he stopped her. And that's unacceptable in this town. Thank you.
So, ma'am, so ma'am, you can go and ask the Parsippany Police Department. So through the Oprah process, their CAD RMS system will have a record of every stop.
They don't want to look into it.
So
They
it's not
have
legal.
to.
Yeah, it's
They-
not
they have
legal.
If someone goes there, they have to.
Yeah,
the law.
so you can
What if
contact,
they don't what if they?
Well, you might want to contact Mountain Lakes too, just in
well, I mean,
case.
Judy,
What's
so,
that? If they what?
What if they just stall her? I mean,
No, they have to. If she goes through the proper, and if she makes a complaint to Internal Affairs, they have to investigate.
They have to
yeah,
investigate.
there's
They
a
will.
record created, and then that record has to be
But I will
followed.
tell you this, ma'am, that the majority of police departments, especially in Morris County, use black SUVs for their police vehicles. I'm not saying that it wasn't Parsippany, because according to where you're saying it happened in Parsippany, but most police departments now are using black SUVs, so.
When did this happen? Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean, just, you can call the police department or stop there and ask to speak to the Internal Affairs Division, and they will initiate an investigation into what you're accusing them of.
May I make some comments?
Go ahead, sure.
So a few weeks ago, I did call Chief Patina and asked him, what is Parsippany doing? Because you hear a lot of whether it's ICE or who knows, people going around with masks that you can't identify and don't identify themselves. And he said that they are following the directive from the governor, which I believe. And so you might have a few bad apples that might be doing something in any department. I believe that. But to your point, profiling exists. It's existed before, but it's scary now because you don't know it. Look, a policeman supposedly was knocking on a door in Minnesota, right? And then she got shot, and her husband got shot, and they were killed. They go into schools, they go anywhere, and people are afraid. They don't know who's doing what. Their faces are covered. And I know about profiling too, like Nicole was saying, because I don't look like part Latina. When I was young, I saw it with my family, but I didn't understand. Now I realize the comments and this stuff was not funny or jokes, and my father bit his tongue because he had to. So it's real, and it's tough, and I understand your frustration. So yes,
She's very anxious, and she's
yeah,
thinking that they're coming to the house and taking me and my daughter.
yeah, I understand. I'm sorry that happened. So try to get that information as Mr. Karifi, and I'm sure he'll help you if you get stalled.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, members of the council. My name's Alicia Sheffield, and I'm a proud parent of 2 children in the Mount Tabor Elementary School. I've got one in 1st grade and one that's about to start kindergarten in the fall. I'm here tonight because first I contacted the Board of Education, and they told me to voice our concerns here. So a group of us parents are here today to talk about the direction. We're deeply concerned about the direction our schools are heading and the lack of sufficient support they're receiving, particularly in light of the coming wave of students from pilot developments. Let me paint a picture for you of the current reality, though. We already have 25 kids in kindergarten classes, 26 in a 1st grade class, 25 in a 2nd grade class, and 29 kids in a 3rd grade class. This is across multiple schools. There are class caps of 25, but those are now waived, and substitutes are being cut for middle school and high school. These aren't just numbers. These are real students, real teachers, real challenges. Our children are already being squeezed into overcrowded classrooms that weren't designed for these sizes. To make matters worse, our gym functions as a cafeteria. It has no air conditioning. And when I offered to donate an air conditioning unit myself, or maybe as the 5th grade class present, I was told no, because it would not be equitable. But what's truly not equitable is asking our children to learn in crowded classrooms, teachers with increased workloads while developments go up, funneling millions in pilot revenue away from the schools that serve the families moving into them. We are simply parents asking for a fair deal to be presented to the Board of Education and agreed upon now. 1515 Route 10 is already being occupied. There was talk of a memo of understanding, but it's very unclear if that was even a legitimate offer to the Board of Education. But from what I had read of the supposed MOU, it was not very equitable. It proposed half the cost to educate a student, caps on how many it would fund, and an expiration date that didn't align with the 30 years the pilots will run. We're asking that you share the pilot revenue at a fair and equitable level. We're not asking for crazy amounts. We're asking that there's no arbitrary caps. We're asking that unless a development is age restricted to 55 plus or a retail only, the revenue from every pilot in town should be included in the agreement to share with the schools that bear the burden of educating all these new students. Because if we don't invest in our schools now, guess what? Families are going to leave. New ones won't move in, and our property values will fall. I'm not against the progress. I recognize that the benefits that these pilots will bring to revitalizing areas of the town that are sitting vacant, but we can't be short-sighted. The time to invest in our schools is right now. We should be expanding and upgrading, not tightening our belts and hoping the system holds. That's why we're asking you to go beyond what's currently being offered to the Board of Education every year for school budgets. We're urging you to finalize an agreement with the Board of Education that shares the pilot revenue fairly with our schools at a level that reflects the actual number of students that will be enrolled and its cost, if not more, and for the entire term that these pilots are in place. Thank you.
Council President?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
First, I want to apologize. I'm sorry that the Board of Ed is lying to you.
Well, we'd like to know where.
That's,
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want, I'm sure the mayor, the business administrator, and maybe even Mr. McGrath, who's very knowledgeable on this, and Mr. Neglia would be glad to have a meeting with yourself and whoever else that's here from your group so that you could get the true facts and, then you can make a decision for yourself after that meeting.
yes, happy to. Yeah, really.
Definitely
happy to.
set that up with them ASAP.
Yep.
Could you give your contact information to the clerk and then?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Definitely.
Because the main thing, Council President, is that there is not one student from a pilot affecting the schools right now. Not one. So if the enrollment or in classes are at 29 or over the 25 that they had capped themselves, or if substitute teachers are being canceled, which is crazy in my opinion, that's not because of pilots. And my daughter goes to Briarwood School in Florham Park. We just had a little presentation, a little, song and dance thing that they did, the kindergartners do, in their cafeteria, which also works as their gym, which also did not have AC either. And not that it justifies your school not having AC, but I understand.
But the mayor,
it's not just here.
He'll be more than happy. We'll set that up with your group ASAP.
I think we just as parents would like to start seeing our schools.
Sure, absolutely.
And we can even offer our own solutions of donations. We're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, Mr. Mann, you have the information?
I do.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Adam McGovern, 87 St. John's Avenue. Just wanted to follow on from what Lily was talking about. The perpetrator of what we're hearing about is unknown, even though I think that should be information easily determined by some dispatcher, and I thank you for suggesting the body cam and stuff like that. But the violation is clear. Asking for immigration status on an unrelated stop is a fundamental violation of the Immigrant Trust Directive, which is the law of the land in Jersey and the chain of command for all of our police. This officer's behavior sounds suspicious to me, given that he drove away with no explanation and didn't charge her for the supposed signaling violation. This suggests to me that the stop was pretextual to begin with, and some discipline and retraining may be in order. I know there's council members here who say they don't want to engage in federal issues by doing things like running a rainbow flag up the pole, for a few days in June, even though I think that's just a local issue of telling some of our neighbors you're okay, in the same way that the Columbus statue right next to the flagpole tells to another part of our community. But if we don't want federal agendas, reaching into our town, then we don't want to make some of our neighbors feel like they have to look over their shoulder because of some stereotype. I know the current federal government says that there's this horde of murderers running around that our local police have somehow missed. And if I were a cop in Parsippany doing my job, I'd be insulted. But you are going to miss any real drunk driver or car thief if you're busy chasing down some kid because she looks like she might be an immigrant without papers. That's racial profiling, as people have said, and our police force in this state has a big enough problem with that as it is. You probably remember last year when the Indiana County Commissioners wanted to pass a resolution in opposition to an alleged facility for migrants sent from Texas. The first version of that resolution didn't pass, partly because the Republican Commissioner, Frank Ballas, said that he felt that it, quote, questioned the Attorney General's Immigrant Trust Directive and guidelines about treating immigrants, which he supports. So don't take it from me, take it from the three-term sheriff of Atlantic County, which Frank is, one of the most widely decorated and respected figures in law enforcement in New Jersey. Our town is 37% immigrants, as I'm sure you know, 38% Asian alone, and that includes many Indian Americans. That's the nationality with the second highest population of undocumented people in the country. So I guarantee you up there and in here that there's a lot of undocumented folks in this town. I guarantee you that you know them and like them and work with them. And I know that you don't want to see them hauled out of their workplaces or your kids' schools by guys in armor and masks who've taken away plenty of citizens and people born here too. This isn't Rwanda or Bosnia where one day somebody's your neighbor and the next day they're the enemy. So that's why it's really important. We're not there yet, so it's important to be taking this seriously. It sounds from your comments that you are, and I hope that you'll follow up with the police on this because we do have to take it seriously. Thanks.
Thank you, Ryan.
Hi, I'm Michelle Gaynor. Today I watched my neighbor destroy a mature, maybe 60-plus year oak tree in their front yard. Huge canopy, did not look like it was diseased, beautiful tree. They also took down several mature trees in their backyard. I walk under this tree every day and saw no sign that this tree needed to be taken down. I also saw new construction on a single subdivision lot on Route 202 where they removed just about every tree to put up 2 large homes. Once again, I asked the Parks and Forestry why this was allowed, and they said they had permits, so that lets them clear an entire lot. Residents are permitted to remove up to 4 trees a year under the old tree ordinance, no matter the age, size, or health of the tree. The tree canopy in this town, in particularly my neighborhood, has been severely impacted by diseased trees. One of the reasons I chose to live in my neighborhood was because of the mature tree canopy. When people, especially new residents, move in and decide to change the landscape so drastically by removing large trees, it affects the entire neighborhood and can lower the property values over time, not to mention the fact that they take away our right to have cooler, shaded neighborhoods, cleaner air, and help with flooding. The Environmental Advisory Committee helped write a strong tree ordinance that has not yet been adopted. It's been over a year. It was required by the DEP, and we have not done it yet. But we wrote the ordinance, and it's sitting somewhere waiting to be approved and adopted. Now that I see residents removing mature trees, I think what we wrote is probably not strong enough, because they should not be allowed to remove these mature, large trees if they're not diseased. I'm disappointed that the town has not adopted or enforced the indiscriminate cutting of our trees.
Can I just, there's an ordinance on the books that says you can't cut more than 5 trees down on your property, so you have to get a permit. So if somebody they either had a permit that they got from the town, or they did something illegally, but it's a pretty strong ordinance that you have on the books now that doesn't allow you to do that.
Right, but the ordinance we have on the books now is outdated. 3 years ago, we were supposed to supersede that with the ordinance that DEP required as per new stormwater regulations. And we wrote that, we've been writing it, and we've gone through draft reviews with Mr. Walsh, and he's gone. And we're about completed with that. And Jamie wears, Mr. Cryan, excuse me, wears many hats. And we were just talking about that, and we're hoping that we're in the last review with the Mr. Bill Sanford and Justin Lizza, who has to look at that because of the stormwater. And I, like you, cringe when I see these happening because I know what is supposed to be on the books. And look, make no mistake, once we get them on the books, implementing that's going to be difficult as well, you know. But do you want to add a few words, Mr. Cryan?
Thank you,
Okay.
Councilmember. Yeah, we should have something ready in the next meeting or two for in terms of an update. We met with Paul, who was very good at this, and it's being circulated, as Judy said, with the engineer and our superintendent of Parks and Forestry. So we should have something substantial to the council within the next 2 meetings.
And Judy, what does this do that's different than the existing?
The new tree ordinance, if you're going to remove a tree, you got to replace it.
Okay.
Long and the short of it, because trees help mitigate the effects of the stormwater and the flooding. And so the state wants to take the opportunity in all ways to help mitigate flooding. And so you have to get a permit to cut down a healthy tree. You got to get a permit to cut down even a tree that's bad, but it changes. Like if you have a dead tree, of course, you can't do it. If it's harmful, there's caveats.
Sure.
And Mr. Cryan went, even though this is not his forte, everybody went through like all the different ordinances that the towns have done. So we took the best parts of everything, and so it's we're not trying to be, have it onerous on the
Sure.
community. But, but people have to, if they're gonna remove, they have to replace. That's the long and the short of it, and that's the best thing. And the town will help with, they'll help you replace with, not little saplings, but,
Sure.
and they'll help you put it in. And there's lots of, there's lots of opportunity to work with the township on replacing.
So what's confrontational about that? That seems fairly logical.
What do you-
Why is it taking 3 years to go through?
It's not, it's just there's a lot of people doing, the township is busy, I
Okay.
guess,
That's fine.
I mean, and they're afraid, I was Mr. Walsh, I guess, I don't know, and people are afraid to, when people aren't used to being told, what do you mean I have to replace if I want to replace a tree I want to cut down? I want to cut down as many trees as I could. Why do I have to ask you? That's
Yeah.
why.
Okay.
So-
Can you share what the ordinance looks like today? Can we see that before it's approved, or?
Well, we
Well,
will,
we'll
because
see.
we have to
Okay.
approve it. Yeah,
And
you will.
this updates us, this puts us in compliance with the state mandate.
Yeah,
Sure.
it has
Yeah.
to be complied. We have to comply with
That
the
makes
state.
sense.
Yeah, but we have to approve it here.
Okay.
Go ahead, man.
My name's Lisa Saladino, and I live in Parsippany. Good evening to everyone here tonight, and sorry the mayor couldn't be here because I do want to speak on the fact that the pride flag has not been flown in Parsippany this year. I was protesting peacefully and happily yesterday because we believe that passing a resolution, though it was not unanimous, and that's disappointing, passing a resolution was important, but there's a reason why a lot of us live in this town, and that's because of the diversity. That's because it's what we want. We want to live in a town where people are treated equally, where people are respected, regardless of what their background is, what they do for a living, how old they are, all of that. And we do a lot in this town, and I'm very happy about it. We do a lot in this town to make other cultures feel welcome. We celebrate them. I've been happy to see a lot of the events that the mayor has attended, but I just don't understand why we wouldn't fly the pride flag, especially as the gentleman earlier did make the point that this is a very dangerous time for members of the LGBTQ community. And I think it would be important to make a statement while Pride is still happening, while it's still June. And I am actually also here representing Corey Herberg, who was at the last meeting and was here when the resolution was passed. And we do have a question, and our question is for the mayor and for anyone who can speak on his behalf. Do you have any intention of flying the pride flag over Town Hall before the end of the month? And if not, please explain why. All of Parsippany's residents deserve to feel safe and welcome. And we need to understand that openly refusing to fly this pride flag sends the opposite message, especially when there are people here standing up and asking for it. So if we don't do that, I believe it does send a message that we are not standing up for the members of that community, that we don't care, that they have fear, that they don't want people to know who they love or how they live their lives. And we just think it's wrong. We think that you're allowed to have your individual opinions on how other people live their lives, but they're allowed to have the same rights as you, and they should be celebrated. And I do also feel there is a big reason why we don't need to celebrate a lot of us. And it is due to the color of our skin. It is due to the fact that we don't speak with an accent. It is due to the fact that we are in relationships with members of the opposite sex. But there are people in this town, in this state, in the country, and in the world who need to be acknowledged. They're human, and they deserve to exist. So please explain, why or when a flag will be flown. Thank you. Anyone have any response?
We can't answer for the mayor. I don't know
Can't
what his
speak for the mayor.
plan
Mayor's
is.
at Ferring Pharmaceutical right now. Yeah.
Okay.
He's trying to get back.
Where is he? I'm sorry.
He's at a pharmaceutical company here in town. They're doing some.
Go ahead, sir.
Sure, my name's Barry Bender, and I'm not from here. I'm from Ocean County, actually, a town called Forked River. I'm a member of the Policy Committee of the Green Party, New Jersey, and I wanted to read into the record a statement from our Policy Committee Chair, if that's all right. My name is Madeline Hoffman, and I'm the Chair of the Policy Committee for the Green Party, New Jersey. I have written a statement in support of Lily Benavides and the people of Parsippany because of very disturbing news Lily shared with us in the Green Party of New Jersey. What are the police of Parsippany doing stopping residents and asking them if they are citizens of the United States? My understanding is that the police should not be doing ICE's work for them, and more importantly, that ICE should not be asking that question either. In the past few months, ICE has experienced mission overreach by attending rallies and other gatherings of people and conducting random searches looking for people that they might deport. They have been given a quota of about 3,000 people per day. But ICE is supposed to have a warrant for those that they tag on the shoulder and attempt to deport. They are not supposed to conduct random searches. By that logic, ICE could enter supermarkets, shopping malls, fitness centers, etc., and just ask each and every person they see. GPNJ is extremely concerned about the way in which ICE is violating the people's civil rights, federally, in specific states, and at a local level. It is creating a very tense atmosphere as evidenced by what happened recently in Los Angeles. This aggressive, unconstitutional attitude toward individuals based on profiling without a specific warrant or justifiable cause could lead to lawlessness and a type of civil war. This escalation is beyond dangerous and totally unnecessary. From the GPNJ website statement on the federalization of the National Guard and ICE raids in California, it's about people, immigrants, organizers, families, refusing to be crushed by illegal ICE actions and state-sanctioned violence. The final straw was community members physically and publicly resisting ICE raids, placing their bodies between agents and their neighbors. That's what made Trump declare war. This is beginning to feel like the return of paramilitary tactics many of us fled from in Latin America, said Lily Benavides, a community organizer and Green Party council member. We are seeing helicopters overhead at school graduations, ICE storming public spaces, and children thrown into panic. We are seeing people detained long after agreeing to leave just to fill private prison quotas. This is not immigration enforcement. It is racializing terror for profit. Across the country, including right here in New Jersey, we are watching as ICE sets up traps at immigration offices, detains people without cause, and partners with local police to harass entire communities. People are being kidnapped, and that's a key word, kidnapped, because if they don't represent themselves as a police officer, they're kidnapping someone. Off the street, in front of their homes, even from their jobs. This is punishment for resistance. It is retribution against solidarity. And it is an undeniable test balloon for deeper military repression against any state or city that dares to protect its own. This is not just a fight against Donald Trump and the Republicans, said Madeline Hoffman, former Green Party candidate for New Jersey governor in 1997 and 2021, and current policy committee chair of the Green Party of New Jersey. It is also a fight against Democrats and what often passes for their empty rhetoric, allowing for continued existence and expansion of ICE detention centers instead of shutting it all down as demanded by many, both in New Jersey and around the country over many years. We call upon all people who value the lives and social contributions of the immigrant community to resist this ever-growing evidence of fascism in the United States and ever-increasing actions to arrest, deport, and wage war against black and brown people. And that's the end of the statement. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Again, Council President, I just want to remind people that if there's any issue with the police department, they should go down there and file a report with IA. They will thoroughly investigate it.
Tony Fasano, 41 Robin Hood Road, Morris Plains, New Jersey, Parsippany. I agree with Judy Hernandez against racial profiling, but there's major issue. maybe my grandmother and my great-grandmother were the first ones to be racial profiled. Cherokee. The ICE agents, I have lost 4 people I know to fentanyl. We turned around during the Vietnam era, 20 years, we lost 60,000 people. Last year, we lost 70,000 people to fentanyl, and nobody's getting upset about it. The ICE agents are doing their job, so are the police. If they've entered the country illegally and they're paying taxes, they've done 2 things: illegal entry and paying some of these taxes by getting a fake ID. It's happening.
Okay, all right, excuse me, you cannot speak to them, right? You go ahead and make your statement and take a seat.
As far as your mothers go, maybe you ought to change the Board of Education rules so they don't operate within the 4% cap. But you're gonna have to, and Matt.
Direct your comments up here.
Sorry. Your Board of Education will have to change the rules because Matt and I have investigated it. They cannot turn around, if you're gonna go above the cap, they're gonna have to have their budgets approved in May if you want upgrades and not stay within the 4%. This way, they don't, if they have them done by December, they don't need approval. So maybe you ought to go in front of the Board of Education and investigate that.
Okay, we can't speak to the, yes, Director Smetar.
You know what I'm talking about. Matt knows extremely what I'm talking about because we've done it. If Jamie's brought up that pilot rules, high school locker rooms haven't been upgraded since their existence. So it's not your fault. Check with the Board of Education.
Excuse me, we're not gonna have discussions here, guys, so no discussions, thank you. Bob, you coming? You take your time, sir.
What'd you do, legs at the gym this morning?
Yeah. All right, 3 minutes, Bob.
Actually, I can probably do it in 3.
I'm joking, it's 5.
My name is Bob Venezia, and I'm from Parsippany. And although he's not here tonight, I would like to thank Councilman Musella for taking the time, effort, and sacrifice to run in the mayoral primary. It's no coincidence that no pilot has been introduced in Parsippany for the year and a half prior to the mayoral primary. The township saved tens of millions of dollars during this period of pilot inactivity, which would have never happened if Councilman Musella had not elected to run for mayor. Besides saving the township money, Councilman Musella's candidacy also made it possible for there to be a debate over policy issues such as pilots. Without his candidacy, Parsippany voters would have had no choice but to vote for the candidate that was anointed by the Republican Party bosses of Morris County. After the mayoral primary election was over, a big question for me became, who exactly are the Republican Party bosses of Morris? The day before the election, 2 powerful Republican leaders, Assemblyman Brian Bergen of Morris County and Morris County Chairwoman Laura Ali, mailed personal letters to the voters of Parsippany extolling the virtues of Mayor Barbario and berating Councilman Musella's ability to lead. My problem is that about a year ago, both Assemblyman Bergen and Chairwoman Ali were firmly in Justin's corner. Regarding Mrs. Ali, how do you go from labeling Mayor Barbario as, and this is a quote, the worst mayor in Morris County, to her description of him in her letter as a steady, experienced leader who governs with deep love of Parsippany, leads with the heart, humility, and effectiveness? The real Republican power brokers of Morris County are the persons, groups, and/or organizations who are powerful enough to influence the assemblyman and the chairwoman to flip-flop their allegiance in the Parsippany primary. Hopefully someday we'll find out who they are and how they are able to exert their power over the election process. Thank you.
are you? Thank you for allowing me the moment to speak to you. I'll be really quick.
Sir, just please state your name.
Yeah, my name is Cass. I live on Halsey Road, Cass Saladino. In regards to the fentanyl situation, it's an epidemic, but according to United States Sentencing Commission, it's a government website, 86% of it that's smuggled is by a U.S. citizen. So I just wanted to clear that up. Anything otherwise is nothing but empty, hateful rhetoric in an attempt to affirm or approve discrimination. That's all it is. So I just wanted to say that. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Cass, excuse me, Cass, will you sign in? Thank you, sir, I appreciate it. No, it's no problem at all.
Go ahead, Nick, he's just signing it.
Nick, you got 3 minutes.
I usually don't sign, but I'm going to sign.
Thank you, Nick.
Nick Holmiak from Lake Hiawatha. First of all, the tree ordinance has been dragging on for way too long. And trees have never been more important on this planet than they are now. Not only trees, but intact forests. But like Michelle says, you move into a neighborhood, the neighborhood has character. One of the elements of that character are trees or plants, and they enhance something. So somebody moves in, they don't want to rake the leaves, and they just take down the tree. And an oak tree, I doubt if there was anything wrong with it. And changing trees are not like changing light bulbs. The older the tree gets, the more carbon it sequesters from the atmosphere. It's the most cost-efficient way of mitigating climate, getting the carbon out of the atmosphere. Nature does the work. All right, so, and then, oh yeah, and pilots, I have to say, pilots are for economically deprived neighborhoods. They're not for a place like Parsippany. That was a big mistake for Mayor Barbario and the council to approve another Inglesino, my favorite developer, pilot deal. And one term that Mr. Inglesino employed during his tactics was blight. Now, there is blight in Parsippany, trash in the street, plastic bottles, blah, blah, blah. But an idle warehouse that hadn't been, or an office space that hadn't been used for a couple of years, and warehouses being the most hottest thing in the economy, big mistake. Big mistake. It's campaign favors. They're going to pay for your political campaign, the developer. The $9 million developer is going to help you guys stay in power because you like being in power in Parsippany. I don't know whether that equates to loving Parsippany. The other thing, when a citizen has a report of concern, do you councilmen ever view those concerns? And are you aware of like what's going on in the town through the report of concern module?
No.
Is that your last question?
No.
We'll answer it when you're...
Yeah, I think you ought to take an interest in it. I gave some photos to Mr. Cryan of a chronic address that always has garbage in the street. And this has been going on for years. The same address never suffers any repercussion, never gets a fine, never anything. Storm drain there in the street, you go right in the back of the Hiawatha dairy. That's blight, and it's almost every week. The picture I gave the town administrator was, it looked this way since the 13th of June when I passed it up on the way to the meeting. It still looks that way. So they say it's remedied, but if it's ongoing, it can't be remedied. So when they're telling you it's been resolved, in certain cases, it hasn't been resolved because there's no hands-on from the authority of the municipality to remedy the the violation of the people who, they walk past it in and out the door, and they leave it in our street. They leave it in our street. So I think the councilman and the mayor himself should take an interest. I don't know if it involves artificial intelligence, the way it's handled. And, but take an interest in these reported concerns.
Give us the address.
Huh?
Give us the address. Give me the address.
Right behind the Hiawatha Dairy. What is it? 79 North Beverwick. Okay. And that area is a disgrace on a regular basis.
Hi, I apologize. I signed in thinking you had to do it before.
Oh, very
I
nice.
didn't put this down. My name is Jenny Garcia. I grew up at 693 Park Road in Parsippany. My family lives in Rockaway. I'm here on behalf of my friend Lily Benavides. I just have some concerns about how the town is interacting with immigration enforcement and how the council is planning and prepping to support its citizens. I just came back from a tool bakery, like an Indian bakery that's down the road. And I spent about an hour with a mother who has 2 small girls, and her husband was arrested by ICE a few weeks ago. He's being detained at Delaney Hall, and if you've been watching the news, the conditions at Delaney Hall deteriorated so much that 4 people escaped because of how bad conditions were. I want to talk about what those conditions are. Folks are given sometimes 1 meal a day, a hot dog and a water bottle. Sometimes at 6 a.m. They don't know when they're going to have dinner. Sometimes it's at 11 p.m. The water that comes out of the faucet is either freezing cold and they constantly have AC on, or the water is boiling hot. So in the beginning of this administration, we saw that a lot of the arrests were being concentrated in Newark, in Elizabeth, in Passaic, and Plainfield. And now we're seeing that ICE is in Dover, in Morristown, in Kenville, and now in Parsippany. So when my friend Lily shared with me that her daughter was, because she made a right turn into a parking lot, police officers were asking if she was a citizen. That's really concerning to me because I feel as though that shows that there's potentially collaboration between local police department and Parsippany with immigration and customs enforcement. So my question for the council, understanding that this is an issue that is impacting Parsippany. You know, this person that I was with, she's a teacher, so she doesn't have a job next week, and she's without her husband, who was the breadwinner for the family. She has 2 beautiful little girls who are unaware that her father was detained, and they just know that their dad is like working hard for them, because the mother doesn't have an inner to really tell her children where he is, you know? And these are hardworking people. These are people without criminal records as well. We understand that the criminal legal system criminalizes people, so sometimes people just have minor offenses. So I just come here and share her story because I want to urge you guys to protect all the citizens of Parsippany, make sure that the police department isn't racially profiling people and asking invasive questions and is not doing the work of federal immigration agencies. Thanks.
Any other?
I just want to, quickly say that Internal Affairs is definitely the place to go if there's any complaint or any issue with any police officer. If you are uncomfortable, if anybody's uncomfortable with going to the police, they can go to the county prosecutor's office. They will also conduct a thorough investigation as well. They, along with our police department, take these incidents and complaints and allegations very seriously.
Can I ask if there's any collaboration?
If you want to ask, just come up to the mic, just to be on record. You can come up. Yeah, you're more than welcome. Go ahead.
So we got a few minutes.
First one, is there some sort of ordinance or official policy that Parsippany Police is not sharing information with ICE?
They're not supposed to. Chief Fatina said they follow the directive of the state.
Okay.
Our police follow the Attorney General guidelines.
The immigrant trust
And
record.
that's exactly what we follow.
Okay. So is the town notified when ICE is in the area? Because I know sometimes they do notify the local police if they're doing operations, or in your experience, is ICE notifying anybody of the town when ICE is in the area?
And
I wouldn't know
we're not as
We
council.
wouldn't know that. We'd have to speak to the chief about that. But, you know, if you'd like, you can call and you can call the police station and they can let you know.
Okay. And then I guess just last question, like are there any legal resources for families that are being affected by this, or, if the town is offering any sort of support for families that are going through, ICE is literally picking people up at 6 a.m, ripping them from their families, kidnapping them, breaking windows. Like, that's happening in Parsippany, that's happening in Kenville. It may happen in hours that people aren't aware about it, but it is happening. So, it's a very traumatic experience for a lot of these families. Breadwinners are being ripped out of their homes. So I just want to know, if the town has any specific legal resources or what sort of support is the council offering to immigrant families at this time?
I don't know of any, but I was hoping that we would prepare for this, because I was thinking about this early on, preparing for something that might come down.
Yeah.
I think the health department, I don't know, but
Okay. No.
I don't know.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Since opening at Delaney Hall, so we only used to have the Elizabeth Detention Center in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and that detained about 200 people. So now with Delaney Hall open, it's another 1,000. So just saying that it's going to affect, it's not just the city center, it's affecting suburban towns.
So there is programs like SNAP and others, just for your mother example. I can't say for any kind of legal help or anything like that, but certainly for a family that's in need, we do have food shelters, things like that. So in terms of getting something to help to support them in a short time period, there is programs, but long term, I don't think we have anything that we've established here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Eric Zimmerman, 108 Hiawatha Boulevard. I'm just going to start off with a few comments and then really dive into what I want.
Eric, I see you speaking to the, if you could please, thank you.
My apologies. I'm going to say just a couple quick things, and then we're going to dive into what I really want to talk about. First and foremost, the pride flag. What's wrong with you guys? Just fly it up the flagpole. We don't need a proclamation. We don't need anything like that to make people feel good. Just do it. So many people want it. We don't need an official document to throw a fun flag up a pole below an even cooler flag, the American flag. So that's one. Number two, a lot of people are coming here and they're expressing that they're scared for different reasons, that they're worried for different reasons. They're coming to you guys for leadership. Telling someone, who has a complaint against the police to take it up with the police department is deflection.
No, it's not.
Take accountability for it. Help guide these citizens through their concerns. Create some trust between yourselves and the citizens instead of just saying, go to the police that you're possibly suspicious of, who may or may not be working and complicit with ICE. Speaking to that, I'm ashamed that we don't have a plan yet, because we knew this was coming down the line. We knew ICE was coming. It didn't just happen. I find it hard to believe that the majority of the Republican council here didn't know this was coming. We should be working to protect our citizens, not the higher-ups, the people who actually make this town run. Us. Help us. Don't deflect. And this is the third thing, and this is really what I came here to speak about. We could speak about our deficient library. We have 3 libraries in town, and neither of the 2 candidates that I've heard of that were running for the Republican primary had any plans of saving it, moving it, whatever. Are you saying that our town doesn't deserve a library? 3 libraries? Biggest town in Parsippany? When did we build it? How long have we had to save for a new one? Why haven't we? And this is really, really why I'm here. It's because we all have 5 minutes to speak. I believe it's in our bylaws. It's like our right as a citizen. Because this is where we come to voice our concerns. And we're going to have some big problems coming down the line. We are. It just happens. That's life. And there are going to be some times that this place is packed with voices. And those voices came prepared. They put work into what they wanted to say. They got over their nerves to get up in front of a microphone, in front of all you powerful people, to speak what they had to say to you for help. And for you guys to truncate it to 3 minutes, to 1 minute, disgusting. It's wrong. I want to make sure that there's something in place that says that we have 5 minutes. And there's nothing you guys can do about it. And if you do, there should be a remedy to it. Because you guys did that twice to us last year. And there's no consequences for you guys. There's nothing stopping you from not wanting to hear us. You can unilaterally go up there and say, I don't like the tone of the room. I don't like the voices that are coming at me. Let's cut it down to 60 seconds. And that's it. Good luck.
Good evening. My name is Andres Gianette. I'm a Somerset County resident. I'm here in support of Lily. I wanted to speak to the fact that when I was younger, there was a police officer that asked me, being the passenger of a car, they asked me whether I had what my immigration status was. I just want to say that these type of interactions with the residents break the trust that helps protect the community, because we have this social fabric that we need to maintain in order for community policing to be effective. And I just want to speak to the fact that the more these incidents happen, the more we erode that fabric and that trust that we build with our residents. And you know, and I wanted to be in solidarity with Lily. I want to speak also to the fact that you know, just a few, at least from what I hear from a lot of residents, we're experiencing here some of the things that I'm also experiencing a few miles down the road from here, in the sense that at least my complex has been raided multiple times. Sometimes when they have a warrant, judicial warrant, they go in. If they don't, they knock on people's doors. You might have someone that has, let's say, maybe a petty theft on their record that they're looking for, and they're not gonna be, maybe that's the old address, and they go, and if you can't immediately prove your immigration status, that family gets snatched and taken to this private facility now, Delaney Hall, in a basement where they experience these very harsh conditions. And I wanted also to share, now that I'm hearing some of the comments of the LGBTQ plus community here, that I DJ'd the Somerset County Pride Prom last week, and I want to speak to the fact that gay families exist, gay kids exist, and that's completely fine. And we love them, we love who they are, and they're not different from other kids. And it's okay to be who you are, and flying a flag is something that's going to show your residents that they're accepted, that they're viewed, that it's okay for them to be who you are, and it's something that helps your town and build stronger ties in your community. And I want to share that, and thank you for your time.
Okay, see no one else, entertain a motion to close the open public.
Motion.
Second.
So we have a motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Ms. Hernandez. Roll call, Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, the floor is closed. We'll move along.
I'd like to make a couple of comments.
No.
Okay.
Now, go ahead.
In regards to the library, I sit on the library board, and I want to give you some information maybe you're not aware of. First of all, we have a state-of-the-art library on Halsey Road. It's a great library, has a lot of good features. It's constantly being upkept. Regarding the library in Mount Tabor, all the members up here voted in favor of reopening that library, and we stood behind the Mount Tabor community, and we approved the extra funding that to open that library. So we're in complete support of that library, as well as the other library I just mentioned. Regarding Lake Hiawatha Library, that library just received a new roof. Am I correct, Mr. Cryan?
I believe it's in the works.
And in addition to that, they're getting a new air conditioning system, and it's being looked at
to do a refurbishment of that particular library because the structure itself was said to be structurally sound, and to refurbish it would be much more beneficial. But they're also looking at the old Rite Aid building to move into there, which is actually around the same amount of square footage. So that's all being looked at with regarding that library. So just so you're aware, there is work being done, and it's constantly being looked at, and we meet on it quite frequently. Regarding racial profiling, there's no place for racial profiling in the town of Parsippany. I stand behind anyone who gets racially profiled, and if they would kindly go report it to Internal Affairs, as been discussed. I'm sure the chief, after hearing from some of us tonight, and the mayor will do a full-fledged investigation on it, because there's absolutely no place for that anywhere in the town of Parsippany or anywhere for that matter. Regarding the Board of Ed, there's a lot I would say on that, but I'm going to spend a lot of time here. I was a 15-year Board of Education member. I served my last 6 years as president. I have a lot of comments, but I'd like to speak to you all personally because I don't want to take everybody else's time. But I will tell you this, not one child from any pilot has come to Parsippany, and any pilot that this administration approved that will bring school-age children here, will not be ready for 5 to 7 years. So anything said to the contrary is false. And I'd like to discuss it a lot further with you because there's a lot more I have to say. Regarding the tree ordinance, I think it's despicable to cut down any old healthy trees, especially ones like an oak tree, because I'm quite favorable of them. In fact, in my opinion, in certain instances, when you have such an old tree, 1-for-1 doesn't make it for me. I like to see more of a 2-for-1 trade. That's just my personal opinion. And regarding one more thing about somebody mentioned that Councilwoman Macelis said he was not in support of pilots. I did watch the debate, and he did say pilots were a good way to bring economic funding to the town, and he was in favor of it now. So I just want to point that out as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? No one else, right? Okay, moving along. Consent agenda. So be it resolved, all items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council, be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Can I please have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Approval of minutes for the agenda meeting of 5/6 and the regular meeting of 5/20. Could I please have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, moving along to reports. Town Council?
I have nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Moving along to the Township Attorney?
No report this evening.
Okay, Business Administrator Cryan.
Just real quickly, Council President, congratulations to the 5 individuals who are on the agenda tonight to be police officers. The men and women, the 5 men and women are mainly town residents or have deep connections to town. That's a good thing. Congratulations to everybody who voted. It's appreciated. Thank you to the clerk's office for helping run a very well-run election with minimal issues, with a greater turnout than usual. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
The couple of other items on the agenda, there's the introduction of a few ordinances based around economic development. The St. Christopher's one is something that Mayor talked about at the May 20th meeting, which is a good opportunity to stop development in that area. And we're excited about that. Hope you are too. And the Affordable Housing Subcommittee met twice in the last month. We will have a plan for by the June 30th deadline. That committee is made up of Mayor Barbario, Council President Karifi, Council President McGrath, myself, Planning Board Member Dinsmore, Planning Board Member Smith, Township Attorney Lavery, the Affordable Housing Council, Dustin Glass and Mark Semeraro, and Affordable Housing Planner Ed Snikis. we're going to meet the obligations that we're supposed to do, and it's not an easy thing, because this is all being thrusted upon us from the state, and we have to do these units, and we have to get this plan in, and it's nobody's comfortable with it. Residents aren't, the people on the committee aren't, the people on this council aren't, nobody. So it's something that we're doing now. We're going to make sure that we meet our obligation. The farmers market is happening, movie night is happening, so Thursdays and Fridays this summer, there's going to be a lot going on. Please check the website for more information. If you're going away, please contact the police department. They have a house watch program where it can help. Patrol officers will conduct visual inspections of your home's exterior to be more visible when you're away. Happy 4th of July. We will. The next meeting will be after that. The township meeting, municipal building will be closed. An office will be closed on the 3rd and the 4th this year. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, I have no report. We're moving along to ordinances first reading. Ordinance 2510, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills adopting the 169 Lackawanna Avenue redevelopment plan. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills held on June 17, 2025, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on July 22nd at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in the said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Hernandez, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia? Yes. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Motion passes. Ordinance 2025-11, ordinance of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, New Jersey, authorizing the acquisition of purchase of properties located in the township through the Township Open Space Recreation, Floodplain Protection, and Farmland and Historic Preservation Program. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills held on June 17, 2025, and that said ordinance be further considered for the second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held July 22nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Ms. Hernandez. Roll call, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath. Mr.
Yes.
Neglia. Mr.
Yes.
Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Ordinance 2025-12, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills adopting the 4-Gate Hall Drive redevelopment plan. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, passed on the first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills held on June 17th, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on July 22nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion, please. Are we going to be here all night?
Need a motion.
Motion.
You guys are messing with me today, huh? Motion made by Mr. Hernandez, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Applications for licenses and permits. R 2025-121, approving the applications for licenses to operate a shelter and pet store, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills Animal Shelter and Petco, number 1854. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Approval of payroll and bills list. CFO Angelica Sabatini recommends authorization for payment. Number 1, authorizes payment of the June 20, 2025 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated $1,650,000. And number 2, payment of bills from voucher list of June 20, 2025, which is $2,984,120.03. Motion to approve the authorization for payment.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Ms. Hernandez. Roll call, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
May I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Yeah, let's wait on that one as
Make a
long as
motion.
you guys want, right? Who made it?
Oh.
Oh, the president made the
Second.
motion. Okay, motion made by, Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Roll call. Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Well, see, I figured I'd be the one to do that now, right? Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
We're adjourned. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.